Hello and welcome to Stretford Paddock. This podcast is brought to you by Surfshark VPN. Now more than ever, our internet reliance is increasing, from talking to loved ones, to streaming your favourite shows, to watching any of the podcasts here on Stretford Paddock. And with that increased footprint, so does our need for proper internet security. And Surfshark is a VPN service that encrypts your data, which stops anyone unwanted from seeing it. Another great thing about Surfshark is it allows you to see all of the great content from around the world. Simply sign in to Brazil and check out their Netflix. You can watch Croatian Amazon Prime. And when you're on holiday, you can still watch all of your shows from back home simply by changing it to your home nation. It is that simple. And currently Surfshark have an amazing deal. By clicking the link in the description and using our code Paddock, you can get a whole 3 months extra for free. That is 3 months extra for free. In addition, Surfshark also offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. Again, use that link in the description and use the code Paddock for 3 months for free and a 30-day money-back guarantee.
Right then, we are back with the Brew, Ste Howson, Jay Motty, and we've got Geoff Shreeves joining us today. It's a bit of a treat. Welcome, Geoff.
Thank you, chaps. Good to be here.
Thanks for joining us. We saw you last night. It was at the premiere that we're not allowed to really go into any details about, apparently.
I would have found out about...
Yeah, the 99 premiere.
A minute and a half ago.
We weren't listening when we were told it was an embargo.
Yeah, there's an embargo on the publicity, isn't there, to a degree, but I don't think we're giving much away to say what happens at the end.
No, I think we can... It's a happy ending for a United point of view, isn't it?
Pause. Yeah, like... People was trying to tell me, like, there's twists and turns in it. I'm like...
What?
I fucking watched... I saw it.
We lived it. Do you know what? It's always good when I watch the 99 stuff, though, because I was a bit worse for wear during that season. You know what I mean? I'm not going to lie to you. And I still see things now and I go, oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Were you there that night?
No, I wasn't, unfortunately. I didn't do the...
Just get a little bit closer to that.
Yeah, sorry. The sort of... I did a lot of the home games that season a couple of ways, but I didn't do the new camp, and I'm always gutted about that.
People have heard what we want to say. Where did you watch it?
I was there. Oh. It was my first ever gig for Talk Sport. Did it with Richard Keys and Lou Macari. And
there's a big bit about Lou I don't know if it's in the film, actually, because I know it's in Matt Dickinson's book. Lou Macari just lost his son very close to that and wasn't sure about whether to go.
Correct.
So wow, powerful.
And I don't know if you guys have had the pleasure of meeting Lou. He's just an absolutely fabulous person. And it was unbelievable. But this was very early days, and I was the reporter. And there was two things that stick out in my memory. There was a guy on TalkSport, James Whale, the James Whale show.
Oh, he's on... Yeah, I know what you mean, James Whale.
Yeah,
TV and all that.
So we've gone out the night before, and they'd said to me, you've got to do an inject into the James Whale show tonight, around about 10 o'clock to promote it. No problem at all. We've gone out, all the ITV crew are there, all the other people we know from the industry. I've completely forgot about it. I had a few glasses, and then about 10 to 10, I get a text from his producer, you all right to do James in 10? Oh, I'm just about okay. So go on, and I can hear the programme, and I don't know James well, and he said, right, apparently we've got to speak to somebody about some game of football which is happening in Spain tomorrow. Clearly not a football fan, and knocking the whole thing. And it came on. So I gave him a bit of stick. I gave him, a bit chipper, had a go at him, sort of thing. Why are you even bothering? What do you know, etc. He said, I think you're fine. I know plenty, etc. I said, go on then. What's going to happen? He said, I'm seeing the German team take the lead, but Manchester United win it 2-1 right at the end of the match. I'm like, so of course. I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. Anyway, we do the game, and my passes didn't allow me to be pitch side. We were only up in like the mix zone or way up the tunnel or something like that. So I've gone down there and I've got my little tape recorder, and this was the days where they used to take the platform out onto the pitch to build it, where you'd go and get the trophy. It wasn't up in the stands. Yeah. So I saw these guys about to take it out, and there's security down at this side of the tunnel. So it was like Tom and Jerry. I ran round the back, I was like, and as they carried it, I went round the other side. So when the actual winning goal went in, and I walked all the way down the side, I was sat, the benches at Nou Camp are massive. I was on the very, very, very end of the Bayern Munich dugout.
Oh, really?
Because there isn't a side to it. I just sat there. And I just went straight on the pitch and did all my interviews. So it was brilliant.
For the Champions League final.
It rolls me back to Cloughy and like fans just sitting on the dugout with him in the European Cup. Like the European Cup now is a production almost Super Bowl levels, but you forget the absolute book sheet places it's come from.
I remember
It's nuts, isn't it?
seeing that one. I think it was a documentary on when Villa won it. And I think it was someone, I can't remember who it was, Gary Newman or someone who ended up on the Villa dugout for one of the games, like the semi-final. And I think that's a Champions League semi-final. And you sat in the dugout next to the manager just because he's got a seat there. You say, oh, you can sit here.
Couldn't get a ticket.
You're right, lad, sit there.
Yeah, you just sit there. So I mean, it's not a big game. You'd be okay. What was your memories of that sort of that night and being there and when?
Did you not see the goals from where you were then?
Yes, I could because but you literally say this level we're sat here. The pitch is about the height of this, so you haven't got a great view, but you almost didn't need to.
Yeah.
It was the noise, the United bench exploding, pandemonium, and just the joy and what they'd done, what they achieved, and that group of players was so special. That's why I really enjoyed the film last night, because I think the director's done really, really well, because this is an event, let's be honest, this has happened 25 years ago. So to find a different angle, to make it as entertaining again, I like the use of the archive and the commentators, presenters and reporters of the period, etc. It just brings back the memories, doesn't it? And then afterwards, of course, when you're a reporter, we're always going to get more from the English team as an English radio station than you are from the foreign, or in this case, a German team. If the English team is lost, you might get one or two good lads, volunteers. I just filled our boots. In fact, TalkSport made a separate programme they put out a week or so later.
Everyone's obviously up for chatting.
But then we were walking home after the game, myself, Richard Keys, and Lou Macari, and the engineer with the equipment. Phone goes, "Hello, is that Geoff? Yeah. It's the James Whale show here. We'd really like to talk to you once again." Oh, no. I said, I can't actually speak at the moment. He said, "Why? What's the problem?" I said, "I'm choking on this humble pie." Because he was so amazingly accurate with his prediction.
Did he know football, or was he just blagging it?
I don't think so. The way he was talking about it, but he's a pro. He set it up well. It was a good moment. He got it spot on. So absolutely, I was happy to take the abuse.
I was sat there watching it just with a stupid grin on my face for the whole part of it. Yeah. Listening to York and Cole talking about how that partnership formed and all of those other little things that was going on, and you come away from it feeling quite sorry for Jesper Blomqvist, I think, don't you? You feel like he just didn't gel with that team.
I think what I liked about the film is it focuses more on their personalities and as you say, almost like the alchemy that brought them together, the chemistry, and their vulnerabilities, I would say.
Yeah.
That's what I think people will find interesting, and the different elements of, and that's a story in itself, the quartet of strikers, how they gelled, how they famously didn't gel, Teddy and Andy Cole, which is great that they speak now, and I saw them chatting in the after party last night. No problem there. No problem whatsoever.
I didn't even think of that.
Well, we had Andy Cole on here and we spoke to him. Probably the longest interview we've ever done. He was on here for about 2.5 hours or something. Honestly, it just went on for ages. Not about 2 hours it was. I think that was the one topic we didn't actually get into. With just him and Teddy Shane. We just didn't get onto it. But it was obviously a famous story how they just didn't speak for years despite playing in that team. And
I know.
And it's mad. And I've always watched, when I watch goals where they're both on a pitch and one of them scores, they still celebrate, but it's not like they're completely ignoring each other. But obviously,
Teddy looks 5 minutes older than he did 25 years ago as well.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
It's a joke. It's an absolute joke.
He does look amazing.
You've been doing a lot of podcasting recently of Football, Music and Me. Enjoying it? A bit different?
Yeah, because it came about for 25 years now. I've been involved in an event. We have an event once a year, Legends of Football. It's basically a dinner, and it started with some people I know in the music industry who said, look, we want to put on an evening, a bit of music, a bit of football. And we did a dinner, and it did okay, and it raised a few bob. And we give all the proceeds to Nordhoff and Robbins, which is a music therapy charity, particularly helpful people, dementia, people who suffer from autism, that type of thing. As I say, we've been going for about 25 years now, and we always honour somebody every year. We've had them all. Gerrard, Pelé, Mourinho, Ferguson, Shearer, Cantona, Lampard, Wenger. I've forgotten more. Anyway.
Not a bad list.
It's all right, I guess.
It's United again this year. This year it's Wazza, it's Wayne, and Farrah Williams. October the 7th. lofootball.co.uk. Little plug there. So, and as I say, we've raised about £8.5 million so far from this one dinner. Right. And because we've always known, as everyone knows, there's a synergy between football and music. So I wanted to extend that, and there's lots and lots of podcasts out there, lots and lots. Not many as successful, as good as this one, hasten to add.
Nicely done.
And I thought, I'll tell you what, I'll do something slightly different. So I interview footballers about music and the music that shaped their lives, why they like certain types of music and what it means to them. And I talk to musicians about football.
It's a great angle, actually, because
their team.
Every single band that you speak to has always... I don't know who coined this as a phrase, but I think it's so true, is that musicians want to be footballers. And not all, but there is a lot of footballers that want to be pop stars and that.
Correct.
So I don't know who coined that, but I see a lot of that. Like, Soccer AM nailed that a little bit with the band thing that they have, didn't it? Because that was a really successful sort of segment that they had on there, because every band's seemingly big football fans.
Well, look at Andy Cole with Outstanding.
Well, you mentioned Coley.
Yeah.
So he came on the podcast, and they were sitting talking. As you know, he's been through some really, really difficult times, personally, health-wise, and mental health-wise. Yeah. And he said to me, he said there was a time I wanted it to end. I wanted it all to end. I said, "What you?" Yeah. He said, "But there was some music that kept me going and got me through it."
Really?
That's how powerful it is. I think his episode drops the week after next.
Oh, right, okay.
To coincide with the launch of 99. But he loves his music.
Yeah, it was funny because me and McCall were like, I think we knew more about his lyrics to that song that he did than he did. I don't think he remembered any of it.
It's not a bad video.
No, that's what I mean. We were quoting it to him and he was just laughing. But yeah.
Like, it was from the heart, though, his lyrics. Because he was talking about, whatever you do, it doesn't matter, you could be a train driver, whatever you want to be. Just be the best. Yeah. Be outstanding at what you do. And if you're outstanding at what you do, then you are outstanding.
Yeah, there's a message there. But we've had a few musicians on, haven't we? Especially on this podcast, haven't we? We've had like local bands and a few others as well, some like bigger bands, and it's the same thing with them. They all love football. A lot of them play football when they're younger, and then you get to that point, it's like I can make a career out of music, so I've gone down to music, but if I could have, I would have been a footballer. I think there's so many sort of musicians that say that.
It's a great angle because a lot of podcasts are the same thing with a different background, but I think there's quite a unique perspective in asking those questions, to almost flipping it on people and getting that, because I think you'll get... I can imagine you ask Wayne Rooney his favourite goal and he just glazes over.
Yeah, he gets asked that
who's the favourite player you played with? What's Fergie like? But if you go to him, so you've got Stereophonics lyrics tattooed on yourself. Let's talk about that.
Massive Stereophonics fan.
And I bet he goes, wants to actually talk to you about it. It's like, obviously Roy Keane wasn't involved last night, and I think that's the tragedy of that whole thing. And I get the vibe from Roy Keane. He's done looking back. I don't think... he's a slightly different character to some. He's not Beckham seems quite sentimental about different things. Keane doesn't. He's cold. Yeah. And I think if you want to get an answer out of Roy Keane, you go, what's Roy Keane doing the next 12 months? And I think you might get an answer. If you ask him about battering Alfred Inga Haaland or the Juventus performance, I think he switches off and just goes, oh, whatever, and just gives you the answer he's trotted out 20 times.
I think it's also as well, from my experience at Sky, often when we would go, say you get access to, whether it be a musician or an actor or a top player because they've got a commercial gig, you've got to remember you're one of several who go in, and you've got to build a rapport, if you don't know them already, build a relationship, and then try and, say you're an artist, this is what the new album is, this is why the lyrics, yes, this is what I mean. So if in amongst the sort of 15 people you're seeing that day or in a couple of days, somebody comes and says, do you want to talk about football? Totally engaged. Yeah. To your point, I think maybe that's what it is with people like Roy. It's just the same questions all the time. which is obviously what I did for a living. But there you go. Let's not knock it.
No, listen, I actually don't think you did. I think you got some really awkward positions where, like, especially that post-match interview, no one really wants to talk, and you've had some iffy ones as well where you've had to sort of like put it on people that, you know, answers that you're gonna get, you know, aren't going to be good ones, or they're not going to be cooperative. How are you dealing with that sort of thing?
Well, it's the job. It's part of the job, because you are you're asking people questions. You know, the managers are obviously normally trickier than the players, because the managers take the can for whatever the result is. Well, normally, if you know, if it's gone badly, and this is a guy who would have trained all week, prepared his team all week, he might have got his tactics wrong, but at the same time, players might have let him down. Most managers, though, they know it's part of their job, it's part of the role, and they accept it. And I would say 95% of interviews, even people say, oh, you know, would message me, that was a bit frosty.
Yeah.
Oh, he was a bit snarky. Whatever. Most of it's fine, shake hands. Up until about 10 years ago, a lot of the time we're going for a drink with the managers afterwards, going to have a glass of wine
It's
afterwards.
not necessarily frosty with you, it's frosty that they got to do it probably more than often.
Yeah.
Was there any?
Yeah, because you're the messenger.
Yeah.
You are the messenger. You're the person. Yeah. So, for instance, when Arsene Wenger lost 8-2 at Old Trafford, I asked him, because he was on a really bad run, whether or not he thought he could turn this around. He was the right man still for Arsenal, and B, whether or not he thought the board would support him being the right manager. So he's just had a horrific day at the office, and you know, and often as well, the TV reporter, you're the first port of call.
Yeah.
So these same questions will come in the
press, yeah.
but it's different. That's a bank of journalists.
Yeah.
This is me closer than you are now. It's arm's length.
Yeah.
And it's very, very personal. And I could see him down the tunnel, and I get on really well with Arsene. I consider him a friend, you know. And on this occasion, he was absolutely steaming. And I remember Mark Ganella, the press officer at Arsenal, I said to him, do you think he wants to speak to me? And Mark said, no. He said, I think he wants to hit you. Which, of course, he never would, and he didn't mean like that. But he was furious. And Mark said to me, I think his feeling is, how can you ask him questions like that when he's just been beaten at 8-2 at Old Trafford? I said, well, I asked him those questions because he's just been beaten 8-2 at Old Trafford.
You've got to do.
What else are you supposed to ask?
You can't put it in a positive light.
Ask him what he's having for dinner.
Yeah.
Like,
you know, what about the 2 goals you scored? They were good. Like,
but
some good, some bad.
Yeah. Part of a 10-goal thriller.
Steve, the interesting thing about it though is there are no written rules of engagement, if you like. It's all feel. It's like sometimes you'd have a row after and say, oh, that's a fair question. I mean, it's not written down. What is a fair question?
Yeah.
We know what is a fair question. So it's a feel thing. But my principle was always, it's not about me. It's not about trying to ask questions to make headlines, or some people might think to stir it. We're there. The reporter is there. We're representing the people who pay the subscription at home. It's our job to ask the questions that we think they want asking.
Did you ever get what you thought was an innocuous question or a simple question and get a bad response from that? Or was it usually with the alright if you were just asking? Because sometimes you see managers, and I think they've been asked a reasonable question and they'll just react in a way.
Did that ever happen to me?
Yeah.
1,000 or 2,000 times.
Because a lot of the time, it's not just, you know, some questions you think that's going to be a bit touchy. But I think somewhere there's ones where it's like, that's a pretty soft question.
A proper underarm question, I guess.
I think Gordon Strachan put it best when he said, I was with him and some people, and he said to these other people, he said, when you're a manager, when you've been beaten, and it's a bad one, he said, you just want to go home, put your head under the pillow. You don't want to talk to anybody, including your poor wife, you don't want to be anywhere near anybody. He said, but you've been beaten, and you go outside the dressing room, and there's Geoff with his microphone, like the Grim Reaper with his scythe. And that's what it can feel like for these guys, because their careers go based on their results. But then you choose about like the method you ask the question, and I would ask different. But then it's all about your relationship with them and how you would ask the question to different people, to different managers. Obviously, Fergie, I would handle very differently from another manager. Or from, say we take the big guns, Jose, Arsene, Sir Alex. You would handle them all completely differently, but your level of respect for them was exactly the same. It wasn't no favouritism or anything like that.
Yeah.
I always liken it to, it's a bit like being a bowler in cricket. You wouldn't bowl something, and I'm not trying to get people out. It's about getting a good answer.
Yeah.
You wouldn't bowl a fast ball to everybody. Some you might flight it up a bit. You might throw down a few gentle ones and then chuck a quick one down. It's the rhythm of the interview as well. So, huge variety. I don't think I ever did 2 interviews the same.
Yeah.
Sometimes it felt I was asking the same questions, which is inevitable. But they're all different. They're all completely different.
Fergie ever snap you? Oh, sorry, how often did Fergie
Yeah,
snap you?
let's have it right. Can you remember?
Well, first of all, you've got to put it into context, in that if you weren't barred by Sir Alex Ferguson, you probably weren't doing your job, because he controlled everything.
Yeah.
Everybody was barred at one point, various
That's what we need to get back to, Jay.
Barring journalists.
Blocking them, yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
think there's been a bit of that this season, hasn't there, to be fair?
My favourite story, though, with Fergie and the barring is dear old Bob Cass, sadly no longer with us. He'd known Sir Alex for many, many years, and they'd fallen out of us. They said, right, that's it, fucking barred. That's it, you're banned for life, banned for life. Next,
Wow.
Next,
It's a long time.
Lifetime ban, you know.
yeah, lifetime. No, that's what he said, lifetime ban.
What was that for? How innocuous was this?
I can't remember. He's written
not-
something, or
Something that was probably true.
Apparently, a
dare
week or
you
so
write
later, Bob Cass turns up at the press conference, opens the door. He says, "What? It's Alec. I just want to check. How long does this lifetime ban last?" And he laughs. Oh, for fuck's sake, sit down. I'm pretty sure that is very accurate as to what happened. So, there was a couple of occasions. The most famous one was when it really, really kicked off with. It was over Cristiano Ronaldo, and to be honest with you, ultimately, it was my fault what happened. So basically, Middlesbrough, Cristiano's gone down. Afterwards, I've asked him in the interview, could you have stayed on your feet? I'm pretty much saying, did you dive? Did you cheat? Alex has seen the interview in his office, come out, and he's...
Just what you want.
The eyes have narrowed. He said, you, so-and-so, so-and-so, get on. Right. He said, the poor boy, you don't speak that great English, you're bang out of order. And he's moving towards to do his interview with me. So he hasn't refused to do his interview with me. Right. And for some reason, I don't know why, I go, how dare you talk to me like that? Don't talk to me as though I'm one of your... And it's just...
Really?
Yeah, oh, yeah. No,
so you thought, I'm going to stick up for myself.
No, he lunged towards me.
Oh, right.
and I said, don't even think about it. And thankfully, Di Law, who was the media officer at the time, she jumped between the two of us and went, whoa, like this. And anyway, it's all kicked off. And I rang my producer and I said, he was so he went for me. I had to stand up for myself. I had to. Next day, my producer said to me, he said, what are you doing? He said, all he's given you is a verbal cuff round the ear. You've got all up yourself. And he said, what, like you've never sworn? And as he's saying, I think, he's right, I didn't need to. He said, when you're there, you represent Sky. You're the focal point. We're all back in the studio. What, you can't handle him giving you...
Yeah.
The best thing, though, was the next night was the Legends of Football dinner, where I'm the host and I'm auctioneering. Because Alec was brilliant with us, it's dinner for 4 with Alec. I'm going, he's a great guy, he's great fun to be around. Backpage lead of the Sun. Every word for word, you effing so-and-so, oh dear. But I wrote him a note, I said, look, hands up, my fault, got it wrong. I should have accepted what you said. All right, I'll all stand up for myself, but we've always had a good work. And he said, I saw him next time, he said, no problem, son, you said you're sorry, it will never be mentioned again. It never was. He was good as gold.
I love that.
He seemed to live a lot by that, didn't he?
His other one with me, we must have been, I can't remember where we were abroad somewhere, and I was sat down with Cristiano, and I'm doing the interview with Cristiano, I've got my back to the door, and I've heard this sort of, and I just saw Cristiano's body language stiffen like this. All right, I know that is then.
Yeah.
So instead, I had about another 3 or 4 questions. I just bailed out quickly, and then what are you making a so-and-so documentary? You're taking the piss. I went, hang on. I said, hang on. We this is an agreed interview. All right, so I looked at the press officer, and she's like, anyway. Don't see him. Next day, we're at the ground. I'm there early. He arrives with the team. Always says hello and stuff like that. Comes over, he said, do you want my team song? I said, that'd be fantastic. That'd be helpful. He's given the team. There's the subs. Da-da-da-da-da. What is going on here? The press officer comes and she says, did he just give you the team? I said, yeah. He said, yeah. He hadn't put his watch back. He had the time wrong for training yesterday when he gave you a bollocking. He didn't actually say sorry, but that was his way,
Right, okay.
which was fine. But honestly, people ask me about him all the time. He was fantastic.
Yeah.
He was brilliant to work with. If you interviewed him, you had to be on your guard. He didn't like it if you were a sycophant and, that's good. You didn't ask him a question. But he also didn't like it if you tried to make your name off the back of him. You know, if you sort of steamed them, what have you got to say about, 5 defeats out the last 6? So it was all... But in the main, as I say, because they played such brilliant football, and for us at Sky, the first Premier League, for them to win it, after all those years, 26 years, Sir Matt Busby being there and us having the shot of Sir Matt on the night, it's great.
Yeah, it was. Get your questions in for Geoff. Before that, though, we've got a little message from our friends over at Manscaped. So, hope you're enjoying the Brew with Geoff Shreeves. Anyway, just a quick message about the biggest advancement in below-the-waist grooming technology the world has ever seen. Yes, our friends at Manscaped have dared to dream, and not only have they dared to dream, they've delivered. It is the Ultra 5.0, the Performance Package 5.0, the Ultra 5.0, the Lawnmower 5.0 is finally here. And don't worry, we have got you covered. Using the code Howson, you get 20% off and free shipping. Not only do you get the biggest advancement in below-the-waist grooming with the Lawnmower 5.0, which we have been all waiting for ever since the dawn of time. You also get all the things that you love and trust from Manscaped. I'm talking about the crop preserver, the ball toner, the shed travel bag to put it all in, the boxer briefs, the weed whacker for men of a certain age who get the nose and ear hair. Like myself, it happens to us, don't worry. It's a bit annoying actually, it's got no hair there, but we'll get it there. But don't worry, Manscaped's got me covered. So you get all that, plus you get 20% off, and you get free shipping. You've just got to use the code Howson. Like I always tell you, when you think of your balls, think of Howson. Howson balls, Howson. There's a link in the description. Click on it. You don't have to mess about anymore with torches on your phone and knives and forks and all that. If anyone does actually cut the pubes with knives and forks, you can get the Lawnmower 5.0, you can get the Performance Package, you can smell nice, you can look nice, you can put it all in your shed travel bag, you can put your boxer briefs on, you can have the whole package and 20% off and free shipping. Use the code Howson, there's a link in the description, plus you're helping to support this channel. Your balls will thank you, and a big thank you to Manscaped for sponsoring this podcast. Now, let's hear more from Mr. Geoff Shreeves. So, big thank you to Manscaped. There's a link in the chat as well.
So, we were just chatting a little bit off air there, but Blomqvist in 99, and I won't ruin the film for you. We do win in
This is a challenge for you, isn't it? Not
Honestly, you've got no idea.
we've signed disclaimers. Steve's on his own.
Yeah, I didn't sign it.
Yeah, go on.
I didn't sign that shit. You do get a feeling about Blomqvist, and I wonder if the personality of Blomqvist, Fergie went early on it and thought, if I put a bit of trust in him, because he's a vulnerable sort of low confidence kind of guy, if I give him a bit of confidence, maybe he shines in the final.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go early with him. And then once he'd played that hand, he didn't feel he could
Change it.
Yeah. Because realistically, Ronnie Johnson and Nicky put Giggs and Beckham where they should have been.
You say that though, but he was one of the reasons of his success was he wasn't overly sentimental. Look at Jim Layton.
In 1990.
Cup final.
Yeah.
Dropping in for the replay.
Did he say he regretted the way he dealt with that though?
No, I think unless I'm mistaken, I think he
He doubled down on it.
I think the one thing I've seen him say he regretted.
Oh, it was the way he's
after the cup final.
Yeah, the way he
Aberdeen
hammers
Rangers.
Aberdeen and said the standards have been set a long time ago.
And also I think, was it Parkin 08? I think he might have said something about. I saw an interview with him and he said G-Sun Parkin because he didn't make the final squad. And he said he felt bad about that because he played in the semi and he had done well, and then wasn't in the squad at all for the final, even on the bench.
Berber as well for the 20.
Berbatov dropped in for the 2011 one, wasn't it? Yeah. For Wembley. But yeah, you're right. Like you're saying, there's not overly sentimental when he needed to be. Just
that's his job, isn't it?
Yeah, do what you got to do.
But, I mean, I don't think there's much point analysing a game from 25 years ago, but shall we? Like, I think he went early on Blomqvist, and I don't think Blomqvist had the greatest of games. And then the transformation in us as soon as we did go back to kicks on the left and Beckham on the right.
You're
like,
on a hiding to nothing.
I know what we're doing here.
Yeah, if you're Jess Blomqvist, because he played out of position, and also where was he? Played him on the left.
Played him on the left, to play Giggs on the right, to play Beckham and Butt in the middle.
I mean, not easy against Bayern Munich in the Champions League final as well. It's not like the easiest of tasks, is it, to be fair to him? But he played a lot of games that season, didn't he, Jesper Blomqvist?
He was very good, and obviously he allowed Giggs to get properly fit.
Loads of questions, so keep the questions coming in. Nas,
wait, I got one now. Manchester Maverick next. I don't know this.
This is a good one, this.
Who's Jeff's support?
I always give the same answer. I'm a fiercely independent sports reporter with no regret, bias, allegiance or loyalty whatsoever.
You're fitting well on this podcast, then. Cheers. Did that come up a lot, I guess, then, during your career? People must be saying it all the time.
Yeah,
like,
but
nailed on Liverpool.
Or accusing you of supporting someone because
love it.
they've seen the way
love
you
it on X or Twitter after the game.
Yeah.
You so-and-so, you're clearly biased towards them.
Yeah.
It's best when I get it from both sets of supporters.
Right.
Fantastic. Love that. All day long.
That's when you know you're doing your job right, when you've annoyed everyone. Nasafel Afalele says, I was 3 years old in 99. The way everyone portrays that night makes me feel like I was there. So Bobby's bits, the players, their memories, make the feeling contagious. Jed's dead, baby, says, I'd like to know Jeff's most awkward post-match interview where he knew he wasn't going to get an answer but still had to ask the question. Can you remember one in particular?
Oh, yeah.
I'm guessing there's loads, but is the one named
Thanks.
no, because you said he's so like, if you've just got to go to interview Arsene Wenger after he's lost 8-2, he's not going to be all sunshine and rainbows, but you've got to ask the question.
No, there's a standout. There's one in a million miles ahead of everybody else. Barcelona, Chelsea, semi-final, the Ivanovic moment. Ooh. Have you seen this?
Yeah.
Look, there's groans from the gallery now. Honestly, I'm the man who shot Bambi's mum. And there are mitigating circumstances to it. I'll try and tell this quickly.
Someone edited this to the Titanic music because it probably bangs when it does.
Yeah.
So, second half, a yellow card is waved. We think it's for Ivanovic, but we're not sure. Okay, I bet you don't even know now why he was booked in that semi-final.
No.
Drogba had just conceded a penalty. He scuffed up the penalty spot with his boot, so it was ungentlemanly conduct. So it's like one of them for a player over there sort of thing.
Yeah.
So then we tried to check with UEFA. They couldn't tell us. So I think that's not a problem. He's not one of the goal scorers because I knew he couldn't play in the final if it was confirmed because I wasn't sure. I'll just ignore him and I'll make sure, I'll do... We knew John Terry couldn't play because he'd been sent off. we knew all these. So then I'm stood in the tunnel, and it's an unusual situation because it's a really concrete stadium. The things always tend to happen to me at that stadium. So I'm what's called hardwired. Big cable up my back. I can't move around. So I've got my back to the tunnel, and they're all going mad, and it's brilliant. And first they shove in Petr Cech. Brilliant. Great talker. Then they put in Ashley Cole. Fantastic. No, Ash, he's a good talker. He'll be great. They're going 3, 2... As they're about to throw to me, somebody pushes Branislav Ivanovic in on the end. And I'm like, fuck. I can't be saying to him at some point, Brandon, you're in the final. He goes, what are you talking about, you fool? I've just, it's the worst night of my life.
Yeah.
Or I can't equally say to him, you're not playing, because I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
So you've been sold a buffer.
I hit the other two, and it's now like the elephant in the room. I'm now rude because I'm ignoring you. I just don't want to go. Please go away. Mum, get me out of it. It's horrible. So eventually I go to him and I say...
Unplug the mic.
Yeah. It's not on. We have to go quick. Go back to the studio.
I said, Branna, were you booked there? Were you booked? Can you just clarify? Were you booked? I said, because if you were, obviously you can't play in the final. He went, yeah, I think so. And it was neither confirmation, absolutely gutted. I said, well, you do realise if you were booked, you can't play in the final. Now, they weren't the best words, but I wasn't trying to... I wasn't.
You realise the greatest night of life ain't happening for you. You know that, don't you?
Yeah.
Like, you're aware?
Oh, no, I straight away I turned into a cross between, as I say, the person who shot Bambi's mum and Jim Bowen. Here's the final you might have played. So this... Anyway, we get out of it, and we do loads more interviews. We do loads of Di Matteo. And normally, if you... In the media, if you're out of order with a member of a team... Captain will come and speak to you, the other lads will blank you. There's no problem at all. All the Chelsea lads, we've got loads of staff. Start walking back to the hotel, my phone starts blowing up. And it's when I saw a tweet from Lee Westwood, it said, Geoff Shreeves has just told me I've never won a major. Did I realise this? So it goes big style.
Yeah.
And people are accusing me of deliberately trying to upset him or make... Nothing was further from the truth. I spoke to him about a week later on the phone, and he was okay. And he's a quiet guy. He's quite a shy.
Did you reach out to him?
Yeah. Because I felt embarrassed for him because he wouldn't want that attention. He's just not that sort of bloke.
Yeah.
He's a really solid guy.
Who pushed him into camera?
It would have been one of the UEFA people. So then he scores in the Europa League final. I messaged him straight away. Congratulations. Brilliant servant for Chelsea, and now you'll be more remembered for that goal than that fucking interview. And he replied, ha, 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 sort of thing. So I knew there wasn't a problem with him. Fast forward about... And I got dog's abuse for it. Yeah. But that's part of being in the media. It was just a misconception that I'd done it deliberately to upset the guy, which you just don't do.
You did book him, to be fair.
Yeah. Come on, Geoff.
Yeah, I did scuff up the penalty
Exactly,
spot.
you know what you were doing.
So anyway, 10 years later, Alison Rudd of the Sunday Times, she's interviewing him when he's at West Brom, chatting away about the season. She said, can I just check something with you? That famous night, Barcelona, and the interview with Geoff, he went, oh yeah, you know, many people asked me about this. He said, the truth is, before the game, the Chelsea staff had chosen not to tell the players who were on a yellow, not to remind us. He said, so I didn't actually realise I was on a yellow card. He said, so I didn't know. He said, I went. He said, I did the interview. He said, when Geoff asked me, he said, I was a bit confused. He said, I went in the dressing room. I was up and down, celebrating. Fantastic. He said, it was only when I got on the coach and looked at my phone, I realised I wasn't playing in the final.
Really?
So that's why his reaction was like it was.
Right.
And that's why the confusion.
You think he'd know, though, wouldn't you?
Golden rule.
I know the staff didn't sell it, but surely you'd know as a player.
I know.
I got booked, and if I get booked again,
I know.
I think Scholes and Keane needed selling in.
I know.
The Stade
Listen, this is in print, and I'm sticking with it.
No, I get. Listen, I'm not having to get. I'm just saying. No one told me if I was got another yellow, I was missing the final. You'd think you'd have that in the back of your mind, wouldn't you? That is.
You would hope so.
But yeah,
with a final on the line.
Yeah.
So when you said, was there an awkward one that didn't go so well?
That's not. You know. You're in a lose-lose there, though, aren't you? Because if you don't know, you've got to ask him something. What you meant to do there? That is a bit. Yeah. It's a great answer, by the way. Akash Paul, who's been a member of the first team for 3 months. Thank you, Akash. Says, who does Geoff think is the greatest manager? Or who does Geoff think who the greatest manager is? It's not a trick question. Who's
of all time?
I presume so. I mean, we can limit it to managers you've interviewed if you want to make it easy.
I don't think you can pick because if you think, I mean, I love the what I call, and because they came at the time and they all had an indirect rivalry with each other. Mourinho, Wenger, and Ferguson
and Warnock
was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was absolutely fantastic. But Pep and Klopp now are good, and other managers in Europe as well. Ancelotti's just unbelievable what he's done. So for the ones I spoke to regularly, those three, I'd find it hard to split because they had different things, different characters. I mean, Jose, when he arrived here, he looked like a film star.
Yeah.
Knew he was like a film star, and he did not care who he upset.
Yeah.
He booted the doors down. Arsene was very wise, but also could be very dry, very funny as well. So, yeah, it's good. Yeah. They were good. They're all great. I mean, but so many of the managers, you get to know their personality and you find out things about them. I remember seeing Brian McDermott when he came up with Reading, and he was really chuffed, he's a Premier League manager. And I was talking to him, I said, so, Brian, congrats, this is not on camera. He said, yeah, He said, to see myself, I said, I was to see myself on Match of the Day last night. He said, do you know what I thought? I said, no, like pride, you made it. Nah, don't wear a tracksuit when you're my shape. And he just pricked the sort of, not the pomposity, made it real.
What was it? You mentioned Jose there. What was it like interviewing him? Did you get on with him? Because you met Jose, didn't you, not long ago?
Yeah, I got rinsed.
Why? What happened?
Well, tell Geoff what happened.
What did happen? I don't know.
Were you interviewing him?
Yeah, me and Rio was interviewing him, yeah.
Right.
I don't know.
It's such a weird scenario that you found yourself in.
It felt organised.
Yeah.
It felt like he went into it with a handful of things possible
that he wanted to say.
Yeah.
Did you ask a particular question that upset him?
Nope. Basically, the interview was over. He just decides to just rip me. Yeah.
What did he say?
Just call me fat. He's like, "Why are you talking about football when you're fat?"
He's fatting you off.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
He did. To be fair, once he took the mick out of me for being bald once, so he's got form for it. Yeah.
Have you got hair?
Yeah.
Oh, he's got a great head of hair.
Well, I was saying, this didn't call you bald and fat.
It was.
But
it was weird because obviously Rio pissed himself.
Yeah.
He's pretty close to Rio, so he pissed himself. But it's like,
hang on, where's your teammate Rio supposed to come in and help you out?
Yeah.
You stick together.
Threw you under the bus there. You're on your own. Yeah. Joining in.
It was strange.
You should have given him some back.
It didn't feel appropriate to be given.
Did it not feel like if you did, he took it well, or was he just a bit?
Yeah,
like, I'm just going to take this.
Well, there was a few questions that I'd asked where I am trying to find some real stuff because I didn't like how it did go toxic and it did go what's it at United, and there was things I wanted to ask from a United standpoint, and he was real blocky with a couple of the questions early doors, and sort of diverted it. I thought we'd whipped him back round on side. We started talking about R9 because of course he was at Barcelona while R9 was there. So I hit him with a Bobby Robson one. Who doesn't like Bobby Robson, right? So I've hit him with a Bobby Robson one. He's gone on to a Ronaldo story. I've gone, okay, yes. Smashed it.
I'm in here. He's
yes, yeah, me and him were like that, me and Jose.
And then, it just ended a bit weird.
But he was mad because he was on us at United. Because, like you say, he had that charisma and everything, and then when everything went wrong, he just looked like he completely lost the plot.
He came and worked with us afterwards.
Yeah.
And he said he said, it's opened my eyes. He said, I didn't realise how much work you guys in the media put into shows, into programmes. He said, I see it differently now. He was great with us. He was really, really good.
It's captivating. He definitely holds your attention big time.
He's charismatic. Jose is charismatic.
Yeah, there's no two ways around that.
He was one of our legends of football his year. Came over with his agent, George Mendes. Came over on the Real Madrid plane. Bought everything in the silent auction. Bought everything in the auction and left.
Really? That's more than that, can you?
United were playing Madrid on like a Wednesday, and they were at home on a Sunday. And I was messaging him. I said, He said, where are you? I said, I'm Old Trafford at the weekend. He said, I'm going to scout. I said, all right. I said, I'll see you Monday because I'm coming over. And it was the presser or whatever you see at the training ground. He said, when do you travel? I said, well, I'll drive to Manchester and I'll drive back, etc. He said, bring your bag and your passport on Sunday. So he gave me a lift in the Madrid plane.
Really?
Yeah, to go back.
Right.
But I've also seen him do, and that's not me sort of name dropping or sort of being clever, smart about it. It's showing that he's got a warm side to him, and some stuff, like all of them, they've done for charity and looked after people. Got that in his locker all day. Loves animals. When my dog died, and he was at Tottenham, first he come over, put his arm on it. How are you? I heard the dog's gone. It's horrible, isn't it? It's the worst moment of your life. Very, very, very feeling.
Yeah.
And people, because we see, but it's like other people on television. We only see them through one sort of prism. Would that be the word? You only see one. You see them in one scenario. You don't see them in these other areas as well.
Yeah. There's like the sort of common chat about United managers now. You can see them all post Fergie. basically lose the plot. We're being honest. Like, you see them arrive and they all look happy, and it's and then you can see them visibly looking.
Look at Jose. There's that photo of Jose where he looks frazzled.
Before and after.
And like, there's an element of that even now with Tenagi looks a bit.
Maybe the United job does that to you.
Have you noticed that? Do you see that when you're interviewing a manager?
It's that, and the president of America, isn't it? The age of 20 years before.
There does seem to be this thing with United, especially post-Fergie, where it just seems to wear everyone down.
I think you can tell when a manager is frazzled, just like any person. When Klopp made his announcement, and I watched that go out live, first thing I thought was, he looks tired.
Yeah.
He looks and sounds tired. And I don't think you can hide that. We certainly can't for very long. And when you're a manager, especially, it is so high profile in the Premier League because, selfishly, this is my bit, it's my interview. Then you've got to do the club one, then another one, and the foreign broadcasters, and then the written press, and then the radio. So that's one of about 15 that they've got to do.
Yeah.
And if it's not day in, day out, but when it's not going well and you've got to deal with various other things as well, I think it takes a lot of energy. I think that's why, and I am sad about it, that they have such a shorter span compared to the old days. The old days, they've been, if it doesn't go well, it'll only be maybe 3-4 seasons, something like that.
Yeah.
3 or 4 months now.
Isn't it? Now it's like the average, I think the average sort of time span for a Premier League manager is about 18 months or something, isn't it?
Well, I won't say his name, but I was chatting to a mate of mine, ex-Premier League footballer, who's thinking about going into management.
Yeah.
And we were talking about, look, you've got 6 months if you do really, really, really well. And it might be at like League 1, League 2 level, somewhere like that gives you the opportunity. But if you get fired at that level, you're probably done.
Did he play for Man United?
He didn't.
I had the same conversation with somebody yesterday. Exactly the same conversation.
Actually, never mind.
Look, is anyone going to tell us?
It's too easy to out him.
We'll chat later when he's not here.
All right, yeah. Leave me out of it. I'll just go tell everyone. I'll put it all over Twitter. Geoff, you said about the podcast. When's the next episode out? What's the next one?
Next episode it drops on Sunday morning, and it is Tim Booth, lead singer of James.
Oh, nice. I used to love James.
Sit down.
Yeah, very good.
Big Leeds United fan.
Oh no,
obviously, they'll go down well on here, won't it?
Put me off now. I didn't realise that.
He's also a close mate.
I thought James was United.
I did. They're on the Class of '92 documentary, Born of Frustration and all that.
He's also a really close friend of Gordon Strachan and Gary Neville.
That's a bit of a weird mix, isn't it?
What a top dinner party.
Our studios, very similar to yours. So Tim Booth was
full of bells behind the camera.
2 o'clock.
Sorry, lads.
2 o'clock. Tim Booth, really deep thinking, spiritual guy, somebody who meditates. He said, "Look, primarily I was a dancer before I was a singer," and talked about, not really interested in commercial success. James been going together for over 4 decades. He's been in and out, mainly in. And recently their album went to #1. Amazing, so great to have him as a guest. 2 hours later, the next guest, also been in a band for over 4 decades, and his album, also their album, got to #1 in the last month. Suggs from Madness. Yeah. You could not get 2 more different people. Yeah. They were like York and Cole, if you like, in terms of personality.
Yeah.
So different. But it was great. It was really, really enjoyable. Really enjoyable.
Are you seeing a lot of freedom by doing the podcast on your own terms? Are you choosing your own guests and all that sort of stuff as well? So obviously, you get assigned what you're doing on Sky.
Yes.
We're not digging holes here, are we? It's an enjoyable job, I imagine, for the most part. Is there something freeing in the going your own route and doing it and totally under your own steam?
Yeah, it is. It's got more variety. It's liberating, to have that sort of creative control, like anything you do. But it's completely different. It's something I've wanted to do for a while. As part of my job with Sky as well, when I was at Sky, we'd often interview celebrities, and they could be singers or actors, whatever, about football. So it's something I've done previously, but just to do it more regularly. So, it's been really, really good fun. People have been revealing. People have told us things. We've got quite a few more coming up as well. So, yeah, just keep going. Well, people seem to like it. People seem to like what comes of it. I don't know if you saw, we had this mad thing with Sean Dyche and I went to see him at Everton's training ground. He was talking away, and he started talking about, and he goes to a lot of gigs.
Wait. What sort of music Sean Dyche into?
He quite like.
There could be any spectrum.
Yeah,
it could be like Slayer, heavy metal. I could see Sean Dyche in leather.
He's never going to be a soul singing type of guy.
You never know.
Yeah, you do.
Is he a Swiftie?
He quite like no. He quite likes indie. He likes Kasabian, Green Day. People quite likes Metallica. He's been to Metallica.
You can picture that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, that seems right.
He likes house. He likes house as well.
Really?
Yep, does.
Can you imagine Sean Dyche?
Yeah.
Can't imagine Sean Dyche at a head candy night.
Hey,
this
you know what I mean?
glow stick
Absolutely.
getting off.
Three pills deep. Let's have it.
We were lucky with the timing of the podcast because I said to him, because up until recently he'd only ever on the touchline wears that same shirt and tie.
Shirt and tie combo.
And he'd been to Glastonbury. I said, don't tell me you wore that shirt and tie to Glastonbury, did you? He went, no. He said, because I got ginger ale, I wore a bucket hat. He said, rip the piss out of me. So, anyway.
Sean Dyche, please wear a bucket out on the sideline. Make it happen.
If that's not the best advert for any podcast ever, I don't know what is.
Well, the mad thing was, so when he's talking about Green Day, he said they're brilliant. They smash it out in the park. They work hard. They're professional. I said, you sound like you're talking about a group of footballers.
I'm thinking
they
like
work hard. Yeah,
the direct and they get it in the mixer.
Yeah,
right. So,
you know what I mean?
So he saw that.
Keep
anyway,
the basics bang on.
Yeah.
So overnight, Billy Joe Armstrong, lead singer, sees our Insta and posts a picture of himself, mocks up him signing for Everton. Like that. So it's a bit of a chuckle. Next night, Merseyside derby, they win, beat Liverpool. We get a video, we get a message, Billy Joe Armstrong. Hey, Everton, great job. You kicked Liverpool's ass. And it's everywhere. In his press conference, he's answering questions about Green Day.
That's on the back of your podcast.
Sensational work.
Brilliant.
No, if that's not a good advert for it, I don't know what it is. Go and check it out. Football, Music and Me. Geoff Shreeves' podcast. Have you got a game this weekend?
Yeah, man. We need to get promoted.
Big game.
Big game.
Can people go around and watch it? Where
yeah,
is it?
this is the game that got abandoned for the incident.
The what?
It was an incident.
Go on.
You started it now, so you can't be rude to Geoff Shreeves and not tell him.
We're 2-0 up after 20 minutes. We're flying.
Is this the team you play for?
Coach.
Okay. What's the name of the team?
Stretford Paddock FC.
Right.
So as just one of those games where the bounce of every ball is going in your favour. The pass is great. The talk is great. The energy is fantastic. The ref's given offside from a goal kick 2 minutes in and been ridiculed by every single person in attendance, and his head's he's kind of wobbled a little bit. He's giving throw-ins the wrong way, hilariously, to the point where the lads aren't even getting mad. They're just like asking him if he's found his refereeing qualifications on his way here and stuff. And
yeah, lovely.
It goes off a little bit at a corner, and then our striker decides to do like a full 25-yard run up, skulls a reducer on their centre half. A little bit of a flare up, but it's just standard sort of amateur football stuff. It's literally them two involved, and not a single punch is thrown. Like, it's pretty tame in the grand scheme of things. And he just empties himself and abandons the game.
That's unusual.
It was mad because it had calmed down on it from the initial.
Yeah.
It got to
we filmed all our games, so it was over, and he's just can't compute everything that's happened, and he's just decided to go and hide in the dressing room and call the game off.
But the game's on tomorrow.
So that game's been replayed.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Have you got the same ref?
I fucking hope not. I'll give you this though. Do you know what? He was linesman for us last week, and I was like, oh, good God. Because I had to go to an FA hearing, and the FA don't side with clubs, do they? They always side with the ref. And they sided with us. When we give them the information and show them the video, they actually was like, okay.
Must be quite, you've got video evidence as well.
I've got to be honest, I am a bit of a ref supporter, because I just think it's just such a thankless task,
especially
for so little money at the lower levels as well. You need to look after them.
But if you think you get poor officials at the top level, and they're the ones that are doing bits.
I do feel sorry for refs though.
So we don't get the dream team.
It is like you say, it's a thankless task, especially because I see it with like even at my lad's 8. I've seen the refs at his games getting grief off parents. Like
that's sad.
But you have now though, just at your lad's game, do you have the respect official?
No, I don't think so.
I was talking to somebody yesterday who was refereeing a game recently.
Yeah.
He said, I went across the touch and said, right, if you don't pack it in, parents, because they're shouting all sorts of stupid things, so just stop the game. I don't care. Just abandon the game. He said, I'll get the respect official ambassador.
Respect official.
Yeah, he goes over and speaks to them, takes names, and then they...
Just got respect on a t-shirt.
Ali G.
I might get one of them.
wearing
I'll wear that for the game. The next time he
stuff.
plays and walk out. Do you want to pack that in?
When we had him last weekend. He was a linesman for us, but when we get here's your officials, he doesn't say who's doing which job. He just had his name on it, and I was like, oh no, this isn't going to go
You
well
like,
for us,
oh no, I
is it?
feel sorry for him. I bet he was like, oh no, when he saw it.
He lines up.
Officiating for.
He goes on the opposite side to where the dugouts are.
Don't blame him.
And then the first goal, in real time, I go, we've scored. I go, he's 5 yard offside, 4 yard offside.
Yeah.
Their bench goes absolutely mental. Our guy who abandoned the game for us, he's let it go. He's like, no, he's onside. We get the video back, don't we? Have a look the next day. It is the best decision. It is perfect.
There you go.
See? So the moral of the story there is, I don't even know what the moral of the story is. There isn't one.
The moral of the
If
story
James get abandoned, everyone kicks off of you, eventually you'll get better at your job.
Referees will
The moral of the story is don't ref their games because you're going to get dogs abuse.
Yeah, I think that's a very good bit of advice.
Hey, that's
there.
only true half the time.
Yeah.
When you said the big game at the weekend, I thought you were talking United Arsenal.
No, we're not talking
we
about
don't care about that.
Jeff,
Jeff, you know what this podcast is
you've
about.
been in attendance for our games this year. I know you.
We don't want to talk about that.
Why would we want to talk about what's going on at Old Trafford?
That's the ultimate lose-lose as well, that game.
Why?
Because we lose and we lose.
We lose, right,
and we win and we lose.
Yeah, we win that game, and that probably
To
just
give City a title.
Cements City winning the title, which they're going to win anyway.
But it's about getting yourselves A, into Europe,
Yeah.
B, into some sort of rhythm before the cup final,
Yeah.
and also after that performance at Palace, you want to bounce back.
I mean,
show
we
some
do.
pride.
You're right.
Show some fight.
It'd still be a bit
Jeff,
like...
there's a reason I play the Euro Millions.
Yeah. And also,
I don't
the
expect
fact
to win
is,
it weekly.
whilst I agree, it would be nice to win and get all that momentum and everything. I just don't
Jeff,
see
we
how
might not get a single win between now and the day after the cup final. Being very real with you, right? And that's not me trying to be pessimistic. That's me going,
Do you not think
Brighton's our best option. Newcastle are going to absolutely do
Yeah, but
things
you
we
need,
need to
you need
tell
4
the councillor
points.
about.
You need 4 points to avoid your worst ever Premier League season. You need 4 points from 3
we got it
games.
in us.
I don't know.
Do you see United getting a draw against Newcastle? Yeah, me either, right? Do you see
No,
United
no, it's perfectly
within
possible.
5 goals
I
of
think they can get a
Arsenal?
draw against Arsenal.
How?
No.
United.
That referee from our game.
Look, when Liverpool.
Hey, he's good now, him.
When
Leave him alone.
there are certain grounds, there are certain fixtures that are hard to win. Arsenal have only, I think, won 4 times at Old Trafford in the Premier League.
Yeah, but do you know, it's like
And-
all them records went under Moyes.
Yeah,
It's like, it's just every week.
Swansea's
a new
first
record.
win, or Everton's first win for 30 years, Newcastle's
Yeah,
first win
just-
for 40 years.
those
It's like
records
every
are
week,
great.
remember? It's like another, like...
But do you know what the other
Decade-long
record is?
record.
This
I
United
can
team concedes more goals than the worst team in Premier League history.
I could tell you two that I've just heard that Arsenal are going to play their kids. You go, nah, we still won't win.
Yeah, I don't,
You're that jaded, aren't
because
you?
we're not going to play
Yeah,
ours.
if you watch the game against Crystal Palace, come on. Not even
Like,
Crystal Palace.
if you watch that game
Did you see the
against
game
Crystal
against
Palace,
Burnley, come on.
Or Burnley, or any of them the last 2 months.
Brentford or Chelsea.
And you
or
sit here and go, I'm putting a lot of money on
Coventry
United
City
to win this weekend.
for a good half an hour of that game. I was there for that one. That
Yeah.
was abysmal against the team that 8th in the championship.
So any of these,
You won. You won.
and then we're coming up
That's
against
what matters. We
Exactly.
won. So now we get to go and get battered in the final against City.
this Arsenal team. I think are playing the best football in the Prem at the moment. They concede almost no shots.
really? Are they?
Create lots of shots.
You're not seeing how entertaining our games are.
We just couldn't do anything like that. I have so little faith that we're going to change anything, and pretty much know what the team.
Sometimes,
from
though,
a neutral point of view, as you are.
Sometimes.
Do you see us getting anything like that? Really?
Yeah, do you know
Yeah,
what? Do you know what?
battered,
Do you know what?
Yeah.
I see us
I know
getting
you said
battered
about the
for
record
sure.
and everything.
Sometimes, and I've bet on it previously. Sometimes you fancy a team because there's absolutely zero reason to fancy them, because football does that.
Yeah, and Liverpool was that.
Yeah,
How many times lightning strike twice?
or twice.
Cheers, Jeff. That is the perfect way to end this podcast. That's 1-0, by the way. You walked right into that one, son. You know, I've got one final question for you. Matt G's asked, has Geoff ever decided not to ask a specific question, or has he felt sorry for the player or the manager, or held any grudges towards a player or a manager? I think you...
Not a specific question. I think you've got to be... Sometimes if it's... I always used to... If it's what I would call like a curveball, like, let's say a manager walks out and we've got wind that one of his players, I don't know, story's just broken. It's not so much now because the speed of social media was in a nightclub till 3 a.m. or whatever. You can't wait long. And by the way, did you know so and so? Yeah. You prefer that. So just to mark your card, so you can prepare yourself. I need to ask you about this.
Right. Okay.
And other things you make calls on. If it's personal, then I wouldn't go anywhere near it. If it's really personal, but sometimes the best thing to do is just ask the player. Say, do you mind taking a question on this? You right with that or whatever? So never forget. In our industry, you're in the repeat business. So say you go big, why didn't you answer? Why don't you tell me that? Big time. They'll tell all the other
world than people think.
Tell all the other lads that. Everyone sees that you're wrong and trying to make a name for yourself. You got to work together. You've always got to go back.
And it does seem like you have a good relationship with a lot of the managers and the players and stuff. You mentioned the fact that.
Well, they're looking to do good interviews. They're looking to do good stuff. But when they're like, the Klopp can be prickly in defeat. But
that's an
understatement.
Yeah, I know you're being quite kind now.
But at the same time,
that super chat that's just come in from Fergal.
Yeah, can you read that? Do you want me to read it for you? It says, my favourite thing Geoff has ever been involved in was when Gerrard did a team talk in front of a live camera. Then when Geoff asked about it, Gerrard said, it's private. Remember that?
I think he was just thinking he stuck the camera in there.
Yeah.
That's when they all got together like that.
Is that the infamous?
He was great with us, Stevie G. Yeah, top draw.
Well,
absolutely top draw.
That moment was particularly great, wasn't it?
That was one of my favourite Liverpool moments.
It was.
Do you want me to go through my Liverpool and Leeds and Man City moments?
Not really.
If they're all like that, you can.
I know whose ground I'm on.
Yeah, Geoff, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for coming
pleasure.
on.
Thank you, boys.
This podcast that's just sailed by that time. Make sure you go and check out Geoff's podcast, Football, Music and Me. Go and check out Stretford Paddock FC as well for the big game the weekend. Make sure you are hitting like, share and subscribe. Big thank you to our sponsors as well, Manscaped and Surfshark. We'll be back for the watch along on Sunday for the Arsenal game that, according to Geoff, and he's always right, we're going to win. Nothing to worry about.
I didn't go that far.
I don't think you went that far.
Got a chance.
Yeah. Oh, well, we've got a chance. That's good enough for me. Thanks for watching.